afternoon, and welcome to Conversations in the Den, Christmas edition.
Yes.
um, Today, we're going to be speaking about how to deal with mental health during this challenging time we're living in.
hmm
Um, and Elisha Galambos, our technician, is very well versed on this topic, so she's going to be also interacting with us. And Jennifer Wolfenden is she's also very well versed on this. But none of us are physicians. We are not psychologists. We are people living this. So we are
Yeah.
living it just as you're living it. And so we're just
Yes.
speaking from our experience.
Yeah.
Yes. So welcome and Merry Christmas. And to those of you
Yes.
that don't celebrate the birth of Jesus, happy holidays to you. And we are looking forward to sharing our thoughts and our hearts with you today.
Yes.
Absolutely. So I'm going to kick everyone off. So outside of helping out here at Conversations in the Den, I am a family peer support provider. I am not going to be using that lens today. I am going to be talking about my own lived experiences with mental health, and both Maria and Jen are going to do the same. So one of the things that I wanted to start with, I think the big topic on everyone's mind is isolation. And what can we might already be feeling isolated if we have chronic illness, chronic pain, any other illnesses or disabilities that are affecting our
And
lives,
then our
plus
wonderful
COVID
queen here
19.
has put us on lockdown.
And now we're on lockdown. So, what are some of
Yes.
your thoughts in how people can still remain feeling healthy and combat some of those deeper feelings of isolation?
Well,
Well, I think,
anyone who knows me personally knows that I love music. So with me, I find music that I love. I get myself in a dancing mood. I keep my spirits up.
yeah.
I'm not a depressed person. I understand that there are people who suffer from depression, and that is something that they have to handle.
Yeah.
But
I think go ahead. Sorry, Maria, go ahead.
you don't have to do anything that you're not comfortable doing.
Yeah.
If you just want to cocoon and be on your own and up in your bed and read a book, feel free to do that.
Yeah.
There's nothing going on out here. We're all in isolation.
Well, I think for me, I think one of the things that's really important, and that's on my calendar on a daily basis, and this is to ward off any feelings of isolation or just kind of feeling lonely, is on my calendar. I have scheduled video calls and phone calls with friends and family. So we have a siblings chat, and every now
Oh,
and then,
throughout the holidays?
all the time, all the time.
Oh, okay.
And so all the base, the foundation of my life is we have a siblings chat that happens, a couple of times a month. I text my daughters all the time. I see them once a week. I think one of the important things is even to schedule Facebook message video calls with your friends, and they're on my calendar. Just to know that these things are happening, but also it serves two purposes. Not only to make sure that I'm not feeling isolated or lonely or depressed, but
Mhm.
also to feel like the
You're
world isn't
connected.
passing by, connected, feeling connected. And so these things are on my calendar on a regular basis, on a weekly basis. Um, Even if we look at my calendar for the next week, you'll see Zoom calls scheduled with my siblings. You'll see Zoom calls scheduled with my
Mhm.
friends. You'll see conference calls scheduled with friends. You'll see phone calls in my calendar of friends. And I think it's really, really important to pivot and to do what we need to do to stay connected to the outside world
Yes.
rather than shutting the doors and calling it a day. If you have a balcony, one of the things I really love doing, and Jeff and I really love doing this, is we would get, if we get, I mean, stroke survivors, most stroke survivors don't sleep very well to start with. And so what we do is if we get up at some wee hour in the morning, we stand at the window and we look outside and see the lights twinkling. Or we go on the balcony, it's freezing cold, but we're only out there for like 30 seconds. But
Yeah.
but it's it's beautiful to just to look at the city lights twinkling, and to come back inside. Now, my husband passed away last year, so I've been on my own, living on my own for, 17, 18 months. But I still do those things, that allow me to feel connected and not feel isolated and lonely. And I think,
Yes.
interestingly enough, is that, while we don't have the human touch and the physical interaction and the face-to-face interaction with other people, we have to find something that takes that place, because
Yes.
innately for me, I'm a my cup gets filled up with people, and that I cannot deny myself that that is where my cup gets filled up. So if my cup gets filled up with people, I need to figure out how to um, put back inside what's been taken from me. And people have been taken from me. The presence of a person has been taken from me.
Yes.
So what do I do instead? I do Zoom. I do Facebook video. I do Facebook messaging. I do text messaging. I
You can
do,
do it on WhatsApp as well for people who are long distance.
yes,
My
a
sister's
WhatsApp.
in
Yeah,
England,
yeah,
so,
absolutely.
and even my mother the other day video called me and shocked me because I didn't even know she knew how to do it. But I think my niece was over there.
Yeah. Awesome. That's wonderful. I think one of the things that's really, really important to set my day on a day of feeling peaceful and just feeling like it's just today's going to be okay is I do a devotional, and so I sit by my window and I carve out that time in the morning to have a cup of tea and do my devotional. And for me, for many people, a devotion is a meditation of something, a centering, whatever. For me, it's reading my Bible and praying, and just really addressing the whole day in that meditation moment, in that morning of quiet, and in that quiet time. And so I address my day, I address all of the things that's on my heart, all the things that I'm thinking about, and I put them to rest so that the day could carry on with peace. And it also gives me some sense of control, I feel like I'm in control of my day when I do these
Yes.
things. Oh,
Yeah.
and so, yeah, but yeah, thanks for
And I
bringing.
tend to, and I along in a similar vein, I tend to have a gratitude journal. So at
Mm,
the end of each day, I try to write down at least 10 things that I'm grateful for.
yes, yes, yes.
We can always think of things that make us miserable, that
Mhm.
make us unhappy, but if we can find 10 things that make us feel grateful for that day,
Yeah.
even
Even
if it's just
two,
waking up.
even two is good. Even two is good. But good job. Yes, absolutely. I agree with you, Maria.
Yeah. I think there's something.
Alicia, how about you? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so I have a couple. In regards to the music, I always tell folks, and I do this myself, is to have a playlist that's about 20 minutes, and there's songs that make you feel joy. And it doesn't have to
Ooh,
be anything specific. I don't
I like
have to
that.
be it, related to a specific topic or time in your life. Just songs that if you listen to, like what Maria was saying, they make you want to dance, they take you out of that mindset. And really also having something I've been talking a lot and made a post on Instagram a few weeks ago and was surprised to see how much attention it got. And it was about when we put on familiar TV shows or familiar movies and we turn them on because it feels familiar, uses less energy.
Yes.
And at that point, it's just, I was talking about how sometimes it feels nice just to see your friends because in that way, it's that same familiar voice, it's that same familiar noise.
And
It's not.
excuse me, along the line of TV,
Mhm.
let's try to keep away from the news right now.
Yeah.
There's nothing good happening out there. We know it's not. There's no. I mean, yes, we know what we want to know what's going on, but
Mhm.
maybe once a week, checking in to see what's happening.
Yeah.
But
I think
watching
we could be doing
TV
every
every
day.
day for hours. I remember when 9/11 happened.
Mhm.
I didn't realize that watching that plane crash every day was causing me anxiety until I started getting these chest pains
Mhm.
because
Yeah.
I was watching it. Every time you turn the TV on, everywhere you looked, you were seeing this plane crash, and I didn't realize it was affecting me. because I
Mhm.
didn't know those people, but it was still affecting me. And so I started having anxiety
Mhm.
attacks.
Well, I think one of the things,
They feel like heart attacks.
Mhm.
And you have to kind of breathe, relax, focus on something positive. So us right now living in this pandemic,
Mhm.
um, it's very challenging. The isolation, the lockdowns, the people that are not working, that are not able to, really
Mhm.
juggle their finances. I mean, there's so many issues.
Yeah.
So the less that we focus on all of those things, I mean, we know there's a pandemic. We know that they've got a vaccine.
Mhm.
We've got all that news. So, watching it over and over and over again is not good for your mental health.
well, I
Exactly.
one of the things I don't do, and I haven't done for 12 years, is I don't have cable. So I don't watch the news. I don't watch the news. I don't watch TV shows or anything like. What I do have is Netflix. But even with Netflix, what I do is if I put something on or a movie on or a series on, I
Mhm.
check my heartbeat. Because if I'm feeling fear, then I need to watch something else. If what I'm watching makes me feel fear, I need to watch something else. If what I'm watching makes me feel anxious, then I need to watch something else. If it makes me stressed out, then I need to watch something else. So what I do is I check my pulse, and I've put on shows. I'm telling you that I absolutely want to watch, and guess what? I have to turn it off because, and I cannot identify. To be honest with you guys, I cannot identify what it is in the show that is causing me to feel fear, stress. I'm not always able to identify it, but what I do is I feel it. And sometimes there's nothing, it's not R rated, it's not rated violence, it's not rated any of those things. But
It's just something
I feel
is
there's something
moving
in
your brain
it.
in a negative way.
Yeah.
And I am, that's right, I'm experiencing it in a negative way. And so the minute I recognize that the first 10 minutes tells me, or 15 minutes tells me if I'm going to watch this show, and if I feel like any of it feels like negative feelings, I switch shows. That's it, I'm done. I don't even
Mhm.
finish watching the series.
Yeah, I do the exact same. I'm known in my friend group for abandoning shows or not finishing shows because
Yeah,
I'm like, it didn't make me feel comfortable. And
yeah.
I have a marker that goes with that. Is it something I can watch before bed and sleep comfortably? Because for
Mm,
me, that's really the only time I watch
Yes, Miss
TV
Workaholic, we
is
know.
later in the evening. Because I'm a worker, like I work all the
Yes.
time, and that's sometimes my way of
She is the
winding down.
worker bee.
Yeah. And if I can't wind down to it, then I'm not watching it. And I think that's a good marker for anyone who, has some extra time over the holidays or is isolated. I do want to go back to something that Jen said before we move on to the next question. And those Zoom calls that you're having, there's so many things you can do to distract yourself from talking about the pandemic or talking about the news, talking about, oh, it's snowing outside, it's raining outside. A lot of what I do when I get together with my friends is we'll play like virtual games. Like, I kid you not, at the beginning of COVID-19, we started to do all these 30-day song challenges and we would
Hmm.
make each other PowerPoint. So one time we did songs, every letter from A to Z. And then
nice.
another one was like questions, like a song that reminds you of a time you were happy, a song that reminds you of your parents.
Hmm.
And something I started to do is my friends loved it so much, we started making ones for people for their holidays that some of them are with their parents, some of them are with, roommates. And we made holiday theme ones and these small little things that you can do that you can find online
Just to make
Yeah.
an
and
experience, yes.
do with your
But
friends.
back to the TV thing for one moment.
Hmm.
There are some wonderful Christmas movies out there.
Yep.
Yeah.
However, a lot of them are romance movies.
Yep.
So we all know the movie. The
Mhm.
guy and the girl they meet, they hate each other, and by the end of the movie, they're in love. And we've all watched them. Those Hallmark movies. They're the same movie over and over and over and over with different people. Now, if you're a lonely person or if you're feeling down, those may not be the movies for you to be watching.
Nope.
I
Yeah.
mean, yes, they're
Yeah.
about love and all of that, but maybe right now you don't have love in your life, outside of yourself, self love,
Yeah.
and maybe that is not going to lift your spirits.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, I
So
agree.
maybe even though it's a love romance, little Christmas movie, maybe that's not the movie for you to watch.
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah. You can find a comedy. There's other movies out
Exactly.
there. There's children's movies that don't have that
yeah,
much interplay.
yeah.
But something that I feel is really common in what we've all been saying is, Jen, you're talking about the devotional, Maria, you're talking about the gratitude journal. And what I really wanted to talk about is how can you maintain your routine? So if you're on a regimen, things you would normally do for your health and wellness or for your mental health, how can you keep that going over the holidays when everything seems to stop?
Well, I think for me, I think I build that into my day. And
Hmm.
so, for example, last night me and my girls we piled into the car. That's my other household. I live alone, so I'm entitled to to hang out with one other household
Yes,
under
your
the
bubble.
COVID-19
They're your
rules.
bubble. Hmm.
My bubble, and they're in my bubble. And so we piled into the car and we went and looked at Christmas lights. Now, normally at that hour, we
From
would be
Niagara, or did you go to Burlington?
we did Burlington Waterdown. And
Hmm.
so, there's a map of Christmas lights I mean, you could, as soon as you pull up your GPS, it shows you all where the lights are, where the beautiful home lights are. And so instead of doing a big dinner together, what we did was we all had our dinner and then we piled into the car and we went and drove around for 2 hours looking at Christmas lights. We got a latte and
So cute, I swear.
I know we stopped and got lattes. It was so fun. And so we do things like that. And so for my my quiet time or my time of meditation or Bible devotional, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that I do that. And the reason I make sure I do that, but it's going to be a summarized version of a devotional. And the reason I make sure I do that is because I want to have a day that sets the tone for enjoyment. And if I don't have peace in myself and in my heart, I can't give that to anybody. So I really need to do
Absolutely.
that. So, and so over the holidays, you're right, Elisha, it's the holidays, and it does not make it conducive to doing the extended devotional, but I do a shortened version of devotionals, and even with in Zoom calls with friends and family, they're scheduled, so I'm with family over the holidays, but I've got calls that are scheduled for right after the holidays,
Hmm.
so, and that's how I operate, though. That's
And in the sense of the financial,
Hmm.
instead of focusing on this year, I think that a lot of people may not be able to give a lot. So I think that maybe just focusing on what is it that you want
mm-hmm.
and doing something nice for yourself. I don't care if it's getting your nails done in after the pandemic, after the lockdown. Just schedule to get something nice done for yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. I got my nails done.
You're
Love it.
not following the rules, my dear.
But I'm guessing your daughter did that. I'm guessing Candace did it, right?
She did. Oh my gosh, I love my nails. Oh my
Well,
gosh.
your daughter did your nails.
She has a business, Wild Tiger. She was on our show.
I know. I
Yeah.
just remembered. That's why I said, "Oh, you didn't break the rules. You actually did it within your bubble."
Oh no, these were done within COVID-19 rules. These were done 2 weeks ago, and so I made sure to get all my spa treatments done before the shutdown.
You're ahead.
Like, oh, we know that Dougie's coming, so get
Hmm.
your stuff done.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we all had this awareness of the lockdown, but something I'm really hearing a lot from parents and friends who are parents is how hard it is on the kids this Christmas. And in return, some of my friends they have little ones. I mean, most of my friends, their kids are between 0 and about 4.5, 5. And they're really struggling as parents to think, I'm not good enough, I'm not doing enough. And I know both of you are mothers, you both have older children. What would you have said to yourself, or what would you say to another parent who's feeling that way right now?
I think one of
Well,
the
I used to back in the day when I before the stroke and when my children were a little younger, we would have dancing contests. We would play cards. We would have do karaoke. So there's things you can do that cost nothing.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of and we used to have Rogers, and Rogers had karaoke on it, and we would die laughing because sometimes you don't even know what the real words are. You're
Yeah.
singing the song and you don't really know the words until you see them on the karaoke screen, and then you're like, oh my god, that's what it really says.
I think for me, when my children were little, one of the things I think that hasn't been carried forward these past two generations is you know, people, adults think that they have to entertain their children 24/7, and it's not true. And they don't have to even entertain them just 8 hours a day. My kids, this is how my kids were entertained and happy. I would cook dinner. I would put some red beans in a bowl and hand them a spoon and sit them down flat on their bum in their diapers on the kitchen floor, away from the stove and all of that stuff. And so they had a spoon, they had a bowl with beans in it or rice or whatever I had, black eyed peas, anything dry. And and I'd give them some measuring cups. They would sit there for hours because guess what? They're in the same room as mom. And they're so mesmerized with a bowl of peas. And they're just touching it. Their little hands are just touching and feeling. And when they got tired with peas, I exchanged the bowl for a bowl of rice. And so the little ones they don't really need to be entertained as much as they need to be in your presence. And I find that my girls grew in leaps and bounds when they were just in my presence. I think one of the other things we did was, you know, my kids were welcome to sit on the couch and watch a movie they wanted to watch. Meaning, therefore, because I had two children, one would say, look, I want to watch this. And the other one would say, I want to watch that. And so I would put their names in a hat, and then everybody had to agree. Whoever's name comes out first, they get to watch that movie. Now, they didn't always sit in front of the TV. So they knew, look at, when the movie is over, when these two movies are over, you are doing this or that. And there are times when all I did was I sent them to their rooms and I said, you need to go and lie down for a little bit. And that's all I did. I didn't give them any instructions to sleep. I didn't give them any instructions to read. I didn't give them any instructions to clean. I didn't give them any instructions to think. I just said, you need to go to your room and lie down for a bit. I will come and get you in a half hour. And I'm telling you guys, I know it sounds kooky, but 9 times out of 10, my kids fell asleep.
Mm-hmm.
That was
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, they just fell asleep. 9 times. My kids also in that age group of 0 to 4, at about 3, 4, as soon as they could stand on chairs, what I would do is I would put a little bit of, I would get a bowl with some soapy water, and I'd pull a chair to the sink, and I would say, it's your turn to wash the butter knives. And so they would stand there for hours. Well, maybe not hours, at least a good 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And they would wash butter knives, or they would wash plastic cups. And they would feel so proud of themselves because they've done it, but they don't know. They've never known. I've never told them that I just washed everything again, when they were done washing.
Yeah.
Well, now they know.
Yeah. I mean, I have one of my close friends is a chef and graduated from the Culinary Institute, and she lets the kids cook all the time. I mean, some are a little bit older, one's a lot younger, but they have fun just being with the materials and just
Yeah,
exploring. And it's something you can do, and it doesn't have to be a lot. You can give them like a teaspoon of sugar and some flour and whatever else you have laying around that might be leftovers from your Christmas cooking, or even things like leftover ribbon or packaging. Like,
Yeah.
I've seen kids play with a cardboard box endlessly.
How many times have you
Absolutely.
bought a gift and they didn't even play with the gift, they played with the box?
I know. People say it
But
about cats, but kids as well.
But I think think as parents, I think one of the things I notice with parents today that differs from when I parented is they feel this overwhelming responsibility to entertain their children 24/7 or as long as their eyes are open. And honestly and truly, I can tell you, every child just wants some peace and quiet with their parents.
Yeah.
Every child simply wants to sit on their parents' lap, cuddle up, and get kisses and do squat. My kids are very, very active. However, if they didn't get that every single day, they went nuts. They were crying, there were basket cases. Every single day, all they needed to do was curl up in my lap and get kisses and chat for a few minutes until they're done talking. And then they go. And they carried that out all the way throughout their life. My children are 32 and 26, and they still need that time with me in a different form, And so I think parents need to go easy on yourself, because really and truly at the end of the day, really and truly all your children really and truly need is to know that you're there. They need to smell you, they need to see you, and they need to see you every now and then, not all the time. Every now and then you need to walk into that room that they're in and say, hey, Claire.
We don't have to schedule every minute of their day either.
Exactly. No. Yep. I think it's the scheduling where people get.
I found that by the time my daughter was 10, we moved to Woodbridge from Windsor, because I worked at the University of Windsor, then I worked at York University. And she was the only child walking to school. And these kids would be getting driven to school, and they live 5 houses away from the school.
Yeah.
And then they would have their schedule. They had their dance class, the swimming lesson, like everything was scheduled. Their whole life was scheduled. Like, how do children learn how to make judgment calls if all their judgment calls are being made for them?
I agree.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. And I did not, my children's lives weren't scheduled. As a matter of fact, I mean, we're digressing a little bit here, but every time the YMCA catalog came out, I handed the girls that, and I said, sit down. And they were at reading age at this point. And I said, whatever you decide, 2 days a week, I will commit to taking you somewhere. However, whatever it is you're doing, you both have to be doing it back to back. It means, therefore, I will not be taking child A to swimming lessons on Tuesday and child B to swimming lessons on Wednesday. If you both decided you want to do swimming, it better be happening on the same night, or you're just not swimming this term. You're going to swim next term. And so they knew that mom was not committed to being out of the house 5 nights a week. Mom was committed to being out of the house 2 nights a week, and they needed to figure out what it is that they want to do 2 nights a week. And it taught them that, you know what, I have a life, they have a life. Yeah. I'm there for you, And so I think, we're in the age where we want to keep up with the Joneses. And we feel the media tells moms and dads, children needs a list of things, and they need to be technologically savvy, and they need to have all the most up-to-date technology. And honestly and truly, a child really and truly only craves your presence and your love.
So I think what we're going to do is we're just going to go around, say one thing that we want to wish our viewers for the holidays, and then we shall end it there, everyone.
Okay.
So my wish for everyone is that they have comfort in their life, they have peace of mind, and that they have dreams for their future.
Yes. Well, my wish for my viewers is that this holiday season, that you would just take the time to be in the moment, just live in that moment. So if you're in a room and there's one person there, then just be in the moment with that one person. And if there's 10 people there, then be in the moment with the person next to you, not with the 10 people, but with the person next to you, and really enjoy that moment.
Because we're not allowed to have 10 people.
But however, I mean, some people have 10 kids. Yes. Sorry. No, but whatever it is you do, be in the moment, enjoy the moment, because this moment is not going to come again. And that opportunity to stand next to that person or sit next to the dinner table next to that child or that adult, it's not going to come again. It's a one-time deal. So please take the time, enjoy the moment. I plan to enjoy the moment. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Yes.
Yeah. So for me, I hope people continue to stay mindful, stay kind, and stay open. We really don't know what 2021 is going to bring us. So stay open to that. There's
Hoping
so
it's going
many
to bring
possibilities.
great things.
Yeah. Alrighty. So thank you everyone for joining us. Happy holidays, and we will see you all
Happy
next week.
holidays.
Yes.
The best of
Happy
it.
holidays. Merry Christmas. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.